Hello, I'm on episode number 522 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. We are finally here, Payback, for Saturday, week 1 of May 2024. For the record, this is basically, when the real life backlash happened. That's where we are right now. Yeah. But we do have a big main event tonight. Winner take all 6-woman tag team match. Dakota Kai, Piper Niven, and Tegan Knox team up to face Queendom's Julia, Utami Hayashishita, and Asuka for the Women's World and WWE Women's Championship. We've got Swerve Scott defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Sami Zayn. We've got the United States Championship on the line, Neville against Johnny Gargano. We've got the vacant Cruiserweight Trios Championships will be determined as Dudley Davis and his British boys face off with Daniel Bryan's trio. Daniel Bryan and Pete Dunne will also defend the SmackDown Tag Team Championships against the Creed Brothers. Ilya Dragunov versus Randy Orton. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel for the Liberty Championship. And the debut of the Labyrinth against OTM. So yeah. A mixture of, built matches and, just thrown together big matches. But hey, that's what pay-per-view is all about, baby. Without any more further ado, let's jump straight into... I can just see the fucking state of it was Judgment Day last year. That's why I overwrit for this Payback. Fucking the show where Carcass and Cutler died. The show with Rick Ross and Snoop Dogg on it. Keith Lee versus Scott Steiner. Yeah, this was like a lot longer than a year ago, but hey ho, we move. Without any more further ado, let's jump straight into tonight's show here in Miami. The actual arena that I headcanoned in the community post, I went over all the pay-per-views. Whatever arena it was I picked for Miami isn't in my database, so I used the default Miami and it's got 50,000 here. Just ignore that, pretend it's the building that I said it was in. I did just throw a pre-show match together, just, to give them a pre-show match. The Hurt Business, Bobby Lashley, Damon Kemp, and Ronnie Hughes against Max and Male Models, Brooks Jensen, and Pretty Deadly. And yeah, Lashley pins Brooks Jensen with a spear in 14:24 to win for the Hurt Business. 73 for Ronnie, 65 for Damon, 80 for Bobby, 66 for Kit Wilson, 66 for Elton Prince, and a 54 for Brooks Jensen. And yeah, nice win for the Hurt Business, because they weren't on SmackDown this week, so, just remind them that they are here. But now it's Payback time, baby. Our two main events hyped up in this video package here. Dakota, Julia, Tegan, Piper, Utami, Asuka, and then Sami and Swerve. But yes, kicking off the night will be the exhibition contest between Ilya Dragunov and the Viper, Randy Orton. The chemistry bombed. I was expecting this to be a lot better, but their chemistry was weird. So, the match only got an 82, which, bit of a disappointment because I threw it together thinking it was going to be fucking awesome. And I still imagine in real life it would be because, imagine the counters in this match. You can get Torpedo Moscows turned into RKOs. You can get H-Bombs turned into RKOs. You can, have Ilya, reverse RKOs himself with Torpedo Moscows or something and headbutts and shit. I just think, their styles would mesh well. Big, jacked 2024 Randy against Ilya, fighting from underneath. But Ilya wanted this fight. He wanted to fight against the best and baddest that SmackDown could bring, and that's when Randy Orton stepped up. And they're going at it 1931. And in the end, it is Ilya Dragunov who plants Randy Orton down with an H-bomb. And he pins Randy Orton clean in the center of the ring to kick off this pay-per-view. 67 for Ilya, 81 for Randy. Again, that's because of the chemistry. They're doing a lot better than that scores-wise. But the chemistry was a bomb. So I sure hope that's not the only chemistry note that these two have I sure hope that is the only one that they have is negative, because, I'd quite like any other chemistry notes they could potentially have to not be negative. After the match, though, Ilya is celebrating. He's like he's been through a fucking war. And then Randy Orton gets to his feet, he stands across him from the ring. And, he looks around the crowd. He looks around at Ilya. And Randy Orton offers his hand out to Ilya Dragunov. And obviously it's Randy. They call this man a snake, So Ilya is hesitant because, he could RKO him at any point. You can see, as he goes for the handshake, he is, prepared for, if Randy was to try and RKO him, he would be able to counter it. But no, Randy Orton does just shake Ilya Dragunov's hand and walk off, allowing Ilya to celebrate in the ring. Big win for the Shard to kick off tonight's show. We then head backstage to Kayla. She's outside the Queendom locker room. She goes, I'm waiting for, I'm expecting a word with Cammy in a moment to talk about this upcoming main event. They'll see Queendom's Julia, Utami, and Asuka defend against Dakota, Tegan, and Piper. And here she comes now. Cammy steps out of the locker room. She goes, make it quick, Kayla. Come on. She goes, so, last night on SmackDown, things didn't end quite the way you were hoping they would for Queendom. And she goes, you've been waiting all day to say that, Kayla, haven't you? You've been thinking that you've got the one up on us. You're thinking that we're slipping. But have you not learned that I'm always one step ahead of Dakota and these other girls? They think that tonight's going to go just as well for them as last night did. And I say that they should always know. I've got my ear to the ground in these things, Kayla. They should always know. I'm always just a phone call away. And she goes back into the locker room. Then we see Candice sort of just walk into frame. And Kayla sort of looks at Candice, holds the mic out to her mouth. She goes, huh? Just a phone call away, huh? I don't think so. And she storms off. 81, sure, fine. For a match that actually was, I can say that Ilya versus Randy was thrown together, but in terms of my canon, it wasn't, because it was on my Payback booking sheet since I did the draft, or since I planned the draft out. So basically for a month I've known that match was happening. This match was technically thrown together for me, so even for that, an 81 is fine. But Rhea Ripley does retain the Women's Liberty title, and I do like that I actually did this. I actually like this over the other idea of Raquel defending the NXT belt, because, Rhea hasn't defended the belt yet, so, get her a defense. 90 for Rhea, 69 for Raquel. Yeah. She comes close, but comes just short here tonight. Then cut to Top Dollar in Adam Pearce's office, and he goes, Dollar, I thought you said, you lost last night, okay? You haven't got a contract here with SmackDown. He goes, oh no, but come on, I'm in town, for SmackDown, and I hear, this pay-per-view is just down the street in Miami. It's too much for me to go flying back all the way home to the 410. Especially when I haven't got a guaranteed contract around here because you decided to cut it. Pierce goes, look, I understand the frustration, but, you're never gone forever in WWE, Dollar. I'm sure that, one day you can come back. And then Carmelo Hayes walks in, he goes, why are you wasting your time talking a flop Dollar over here? He's a bum. Okay, he ain't even work here anymore. Well, you should be talking to me. Because you got your first pay-per-view event here back on SmackDown. You haven't put me on the show. Are you still angry at me? You still ain't over what I did embarrassing your brand back at Survivor Series and I jumped over to Raw? But now fate's put me back in your lap, Pierce. And I sure hope you ain't petty, because being petty against your number one guy, that's going to be a bit weird for both of us. Pierce goes, well, I'm prepared for a clean slate here. Are you? And he just chuckles and goes, I'm sure you are, Pierce. I don't need your clean slate, though. You keep that chip on your shoulder, because I'm going to keep mine on mine. And get back what is mine. My World Heavyweight Championship. He turns around, Top Dollar just there, stood in the doorway. And he goes, move, fatty. And he shoves Top Dollar on the floor. And, as Top Dollar falls down, a box, falls on him. And, just terrible luck all around for Top Dollar. 58. That's actually a lot better than I thought it would be. Yeah. Drake Chambers gets a 60 and Nathan Kelly gets a 64. So they're actually pretty good off the gate. Because they've been in development over 3.5 years. But yeah, the Labyrinth are finally here. Our Uncharted-themed tag team. That trusts off the video game thing as well, technically. Drake Chambers pins Bronco Nima with a Sacred Stones in 646. And yeah, they've got excellent chemistry as well. But Swerve's boys lost here tonight. Hopefully that's not a bad omen for him, for his World Heavyweight Championship match against Sami Zayn later on tonight. But, our new tag team here, the Labyrinth, pick up the win in their debut match here on SmackDown. 82, for a match involving JJ Gale, that's fine. JJ Gale is on a pay-per-view day, he's made it. But it is the Dragon's Dojo. Dante Rios, Oney Lorcan and Jonathan Gresham. Oney pins RKJ with a flying blockbuster in 17:21. And we do crown the new Cruiserweight Trios champions. You know, Christian CWE said after WrestleMania, you know, it should have been the Dragon's Dojo who won the Trios titles. And I was going to, but A, I thought I changed too many belts, and B, there was the whole Drew Gulak thing going on. But it's fine, because Fate agreed with you, and they're now the champions now. And Jonathan Gresham scored an 86, so he's, you know, just slides right into Gulak's role anyway. 86 for Gresham, 66 for Oney, 68 for Dante, 66 for RKJ, 44 for JJ Galen, and 87 for Dudley Davis. And yeah, so Dante, Oney, and Jonathan bring the Cruiserweight Trios championships home to the Dragon's Dojo. But will they all have gold? Well, no, they won't, because Miles Bourne doesn't have gold. But will Daniel Bryan and Pete Dunne keep their tag gold? We'll find out later on tonight, because I believe Neville versus Johnny Gargano is up first. Yeah, just a quick hype segment. Because there has been some build here. You know, they've had some brief interactions on SmackDown since WrestleMania. So yeah, Johnny Gargano, the challenger for Neville. The second challenger, technically, because he did defend it in a rematch against Pistolero on SmackDown. 90. Boom. Banger. Now we get to the high end of the card. Well, I intended for Ilya and Randy to be at the high end of the card, but apparently the chemistry was off. You know, chemistry notes are really fucking annoying like that. Johnny does give it a good go. He wants to prove that he's not like those other cruiserweights. That's basically the story of this match, is that, you know, Neville quit all those years ago because he was trapped in the cruiserweight division. He's won the US title from a cruiserweight, and he's fighting another cruiserweight here, so, you know, he's a bit pissed off. And Johnny Gargano's like, well, no, I am better than, you know, Enzo Amore. So he does take the fight to Neville, but in the end, Neville does put him down with the red arrow in 14 minutes and 10 to make defense number 2 of the US title. 77 for Gargano and 94 for Neville. And yeah, the bastard, the king of the United States, defends on pay-per-view. Big win. Hype video for the WWE tag. I feel like I'm calling it the SmackDown tag team titles. It's because I'm looking at my my OBS screen on my other monitor, and the thing down the bottom still says SmackDown Tag Team Champion, so I should probably change that. But yeah, it's the WWE Tag Team Championships. Pete Dunne and Daniel Bryan of the Dragon's Dojo against the Creed brothers, led by William Regal. This is actually their second match. You know, they won it on SmackDown, then Regal said, you know, get your head in the game. And now it's time for round 2 here tonight. 82, again, penalised for something, this time an injury, because Julius Creed sustained swivel hips. You know, Julius Creed's swivel hips threw this match off. You know, this pay-per-view's kind of cursed right now. But still been alright, you know. Gargano and Neville still got blue. But yeah, you know, this match has a story to it, because, you know, Regal's at ringside, and after what, Daniel Bryan just ran him down last night, you know, saying, you know, do you want to be with these meatheads who don't really, you know, love wrestling? They ran from the grind, you could say, and they did college athlete shit. Do you want to help them, or do you want to be on the real wrestlers' side? And then the Creeds are fighting out, you know, they're looking rougher and tougher. You know, like, Regal's training is really paying off for him. And then the finish is, in the end, Bryan does have Julius Creed locked in the label lock. And then Regal throws in the towel. He can't take it anymore, he throws in the towel. A sign of weakness from Regal as well, because he thought Julius Creed was going to tap out. And, you know, Julius is a bit frustrated at that, but, you know, he does get it at the end of the day. You know, I don't want him to be like, oh, you know, they're going to break up. Because, you know, he does know that Regal's got his best interests at heart. It's just frustrating, you know. Maybe one more round and they could have him. But Pete Dunne and Daniel Bryan do retain the WWE Tag Team Championships here tonight. 87 for Pete, 95 for Bryan, 70 for Julius, and then 82 for Brutus. Yeah, what a hoot. So yes, thank you, Kurt. Kurt Angle was the agent for this. That's actually really good. You know, the 2 single wearing grapplers, Daniel Bryan, you know, yeah, that's a Kurt Angle match if I've ever seen one. Now we're on with the big matches. Sami Zayn and Swerve has very quickly become a hot rivalry for this belt. You know, Sami Zayn, as he's pointed out in promos, is a former WWE champion, but, you know, not a lot of people remember that in this world, because it was in that weird challenge run period where there was a pay-per-view every month, and, you know, a lot of those title reigns, to me personally, are, like, really forgettable. Like, this is a ramble here about the series in a general, but I think it got better at like season 5 and 6, whatever it was, where I actually, you know, broke up the pay-per-view schedule, and there wasn't a pay-per-view every month, because I think that's how it led to some more memorable title reigns as well, because I got into the habit of just, well, there's a pay-per-view at the end of the month, they're defending the belt there, instead of like not doing anything on TV. And so Samuel was a victim of that error, but, you know, in this world, you know, he failed because he lost after a month to Roman. So he wants to prove that he's not a failure, that wasn't a fluke, that he does belong at the top, and he's going to get back to the top. And Swerve, you know, he wants to keep his gold. You know, he thinks he's the best wrestler here on SmackDown. He says that Sami's going to disappoint people yet again. And, you know, people may not remember Sami Zayn as the WWE champion, but they will remember Sami Zayn as the failure to become World Heavyweight Champion. Another 90. I'll take that. Maybe hoping for a little bit more, but it's fine. You know, it's a dramatic match. It's a Sami Zayn world title match. You know what kind of match you're in for here. Nobody can get the crowd on his side quite like Sami. And, you know, another element to this match is that when Kevin Owens was drafted to WCW, you know, he told Sami on that night, you know, go on, do it for me, you know, keep going. So he's also fine for Kev as well. He doesn't want to let his best friend down. He does give it his all, you know. He turns back the years, beginning the Sami Zayn of NXT. Haluva kicks Swerve, Swerve kicks out. And then he goes for another Haluva kick, Swerve ducks under it. He hits the house call while Sami Zayn's legs caught up in the ropes. And then, you know, he calls to his feet, he hits another house call on Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn, unfortunately, does come up short. I want to note, you know, we saw OTM earlier on tonight and they lost. There's a reason I put them in that match in the first place, is because I don't want them at ringside here. Lord Bando, he's out there, but he doesn't get physically involved. He's just out there for vibes. Sami just couldn't do it tonight. Which, oof. You know, we live and we learn. But nobody's going to take away that, like, the thing here isn't to take away isn't that Sami was right, he's a flash in the pan. It's that Sami Zayn very nearly had the World Heavyweight Champion. He came up just short. Swerve was just that little bit better. After the match, we get, like, Sami Zayn, you know, leaving the ring. You get, like, the Peacock adverts. Then we do see Swerve backstage with the rest of his group. He goes, did you see that? Did you see that, Bando? You saw that, right? He goes, I did see that, Swerve. He goes, Bronco Illusion, did you see that? Of course, I don't know. Because I was hoping you were going to see it. Because you saw a winner, okay? You saw me doing my thing, proving that I am the best wrestler on this roster. Sami, he put up a hell of a fight, you know. I got a respect for that guy that I didn't have before tonight. He took it to my all. He nearly had this. But I'm just that little bit better than he is. But you facing two rookies tonight. Two losers tonight. But you weren't facing two losers tonight because you're the losers. You're the rookies. You couldn't get it done. You're tarnishing the name of Swerve and the Mogul affiliates. Pull your head out of your ass. He turns around and Drew McIntyre's just there grinning him. Swerve, you know, he suddenly stops. He just stares at Drew McIntyre. Drew looks down at the world title, sort of pats the belt on his shoulder. He goes, so it's you. I look forward to it. And he walks off. Main event time. Winner take all. Dakota Kai won the Women's World Championship from Io at WrestleMania. We haven't seen Io since. We thought she was going to be in this match, but it turns out that spot went to the newest member of Queendom, Julia, the former ECW Women's World Champion. And then, of course, Utami and Asuka did take the women's tag titles from Piper and Tegan at WrestleMania. So somebody who won the belts at WrestleMania will be losing them tonight. The question is who? AEA rated main event, we'll take that. Sure. You know, Piper and I guess just Piper wasn't really, you know, performing that high, so yeah, AEA's fine. This is more so about, you know, the story of the match. Well, not really the story of the whole match, because, you know, we know Queendom lore by now. Julia is really the only new face in this scenario, including Candice coming out halfway through the match. Because, you know, she thought Cammy was scheming something. And, yeah, Candice does come out in the corner of the baby faces, you know, cheering them on, you know, basically to counter Cammy, cheering on the heels. And then in the end, you know, Candice is out there. She like shoves Cammy to the floor or whatever. She goes, go make your phone call, where is she, huh? Where's your queen? Where is she? She's not out here. And then, you know, Candice has neutralized Cammy, which now allows Dakota Kai to hit that scorpion kick on Asuka. Dakota Kai pins Asuka to retain her Women's World Championship and win back the Women's Tag Team Championships for Tegan Nox and Piper Niven. So again, the story here, which you can all see, but I'm going to say it anyway. Queendom are outnumbered right now. Again, we don't know where Io's gone. We haven't seen Io since WrestleMania, but with Candice, you know, still lingering in the fold, we may actually have the power to fight off the Queendom attack. Because there's only 3 of them right now. And Candice, again, Cammy isn't a physical threat, so, you know, she only really counts as half a person. But, yeah. 70 for Piper Niven, 81 for Tegan Nox, 82 for Dakota Kai, 86 for Utami, 91 for Asuka, and then 85 for Julia. Yeah, then the show closes with the 4 babyfaces standing tall. I had to do this so I could put the belts on Tegan and Piper, because the game lets you defend singles titles in 6-woman tag matches, but not the tag belts. Which I get why, because, you know, if, for example, the tag belts are on the line there, the game wouldn't know which 2 people to put them on. But then, like, let me pick. Like, it's not that hard. Yeah, Candice is in there, she raises their arm, they stand tall, we get, like, an angry shot of Cammy glaring, you know, like the Chad Gable death stare from Clash in real life. You know, Cammy's giving that to the ring. If she did have a plan tonight, it failed. Queendom holds no gold right now. Dakota Kai, still Women's World Champion. Piper Niven and Tegan Nox, once again, Women's Tag Team Champions to end Payback. 88 rated show. You know, a show that's been sort of hampered. It could have been a lot better. It was a lot better in my head. But it was still good, you know. Like, I'm focusing too hard on the ratings. You know, the stories I wanted to tell on the show still played out as they were supposed to, which to me is more important. But I'm letting, you know, Ilya and Randy's lack of chemistry and that injury in the tag match really ruin the show for me. But it's fine. What matters more is what you thought of the show. Do let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for Raw, where we've got a huge main event. A fatal 4-way to determine Cody Rhodes' challenger for Clash at the Castle between CM Punk, LA Knight, Seth Rollins, and Chad Gable. See you then. You're not going to want to miss that.